Welcome back to Talking Shop with Shop Saber. I'm Brandon, back with a new crew today. Chad, how we doing?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really well, man. But we got some newbies there.
Definitely some newbies.
We got Travis from the sales department. Travis, how you doing, man?
Doing great today, sir.
You excited?
Very excited.
You nervous?
A little bit.
All right, well, don't be nervous because me and Chad mess this up enough on our own. Trust me, you can just join us. And then we have a new producer of the show today, Kyle. He's here, but he doesn't have a mic at the moment because we failed to order the one part we needed for his mic to work. So he'll be here next week, but he's going to be the new producer of the show because our buddy Garrett has accepted a new position. So congratulations to Garrett first. And then boo Garrett for leaving us. But yeah, Garrett, congratulations. I know you're sitting right there. We can see you, but you don't have a mic either because we stole your mic for Travis. So Travis, do you feel honored?
I do, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate that we're losing Garrett, but we're excited because Kyle brings some newness to the team, right? You got some new skills there that we're excited to use. He's got some experience with some pretty big things. I know he did some stuff with the Brewers, so that's pretty cool. He was big time, so that's pretty cool for him. But now Garrett's going to do big time things now on his own, so we wish him the best of luck.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I know last week we talked a little bit about the various levels of CNC routing. Felt like we did a pretty good job moving through that, and I thought today is a good opportunity for us to talk about reinventing yourself. Because, hey, we're kind of reinventing the show this week, right? We got some new things happening, some exciting things. But, it's also a good opportunity for people to think about reinventing their shops and their businesses and things like that. So figured that'd be a good topic to jump into.
Yeah, getting into the busy time of year.
Busy time. Dude, I love busy time of year.
Absolutely.
It's like my favorite. Is it your favorite, Travis?
It's the best time of the year.
Best time of the year. Best time. What'd you guys do this weekend, though? Chad?
I went golfing both
Weird.
days. Oh, yeah.
Practicing for the Live Tour.
Trying out.
Out.
Stop searching for homes. So
Yeah, I heard that you decided to do some remodeling of your own place, and you're going to build up the Chad Mahal.
exactly.
I like
my
it.
little mini mansion.
Mini mansion, Chad. I like it. They don't call you Chadillac for nothing, right?
Exactly.
What about you, Travis? Anything fun this weekend?
Oh, just getting ready for winter. So went for one last ride on the Harley. I guess I rode it to work today, so maybe not the last
Yeah,
ride, but
same.
one of the last rides. And got rid of all the leaves in the yard. So
Your weekend sucked.
it was not very fun.
That sounds
very
terrible.
dusty and nasty. Yep.
Yeah,
Don't you have a kid to pick up the leaves?
Yeah, that's why you have
He
kids.
picks up all the sticks before I go through with the lawnmower, so he does have a job to do.
I got you.
There we go. I didn't pick up leaves because that sounds terrible.
It does sound terrible.
But I did also get ready for winter. Got some of the stuff ready around the house for winter. Tore the race car apart this weekend. That was cool.
I was about to say, are you done racing now?
Done racing. Tore the car apart. Pressure washed it. It's all set, ready to go. Man, tearing it apart's way more fun than putting it back together.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, I'm usually really good at tearing it apart on my own, but like when you tear it apart the right way, it actually comes apart really well.
I was going to say, it's a good thing you crash a lot.
Yeah, do crash a lot. That happens. So yeah, that was kind of my weekend. Nothing too crazy. Took the boys to an apple orchard. Got to shoot an apple cannon. That was kind of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just air-powered cannon, which, for the record, they say you're only supposed to put one apple in it at a time. But in case anybody's wondering, it does successfully shoot 7 at one time. They weren't as thrilled as I was.
I watched a video where they did a cannon of candy over
Yeah.
all these kids, and it shot the candy, and it started pelting the kids in the head, and everyone's crying, and parents are dodging it. They're like, probably the worst idea ever.
It was like, oh, this is such a bad idea. Well, we didn't do any of that. We were shooting apples out into a farm field at tractors. So that was cool.
Yeah,
We didn't hit a single tractor. Caden's aim was a little off. But we did shoot 7 at one time, so it was like a shotgun blast.
it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so that was fun. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about reinventing ourselves. Like I said, as we move towards the end of the year, as you mentioned, Chad, we're seeing a lot of traffic pickup, on our end. And one thing we see more of, around this time is people preparing for the new year, right? Mm-hmm. You start thinking about this year, 2020. God, it's already over. 2022 is almost over.
It's crazy.
But you start thinking about 2023. Like, what can we do in 23 to be better than we were in 22, right?
Yep.
And so when you start doing that, you start thinking about what you can improve on yourself, right? First, people always talk about the New Year's diets, right? The resolutions. But you also have to think about reinventing yourself. Like, as a company, what do you do to make yourself better for the next year? Because if you do the same thing over and over, you're going to get the same results, right? You got to do something, so you can work smarter in 23, not harder in 23, right?
Yep.
And so that's kind of what made me go to this topic, was kind of talking about some of that stuff. So, what do you think about this topic, Chad?
I think it's a great topic. I think that reinventing yourself is important to do, and it's just about making little changes to get yourself better.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a huge thing, right? You got to make little things. It's not huge changes a lot of times.
Exactly.
People think huge things when you start talking about reinventing, but sometimes it's just simply just small, subtle changes that make a big difference.
Exactly. Changing up some of your daily habits.
Yeah. Travis, what do you think about this topic?
I think it's a good topic. I think it's a good time for people when they're reinventing themselves to talk about getting into a CNC.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you on that. I think it's a good opportunity for you to reinvent your business, right?
Add automation.
Add automation, yeah. I think about how much ShopSaver's done in the last 22 years, right? How much we've evolved and changed. How much have we improved on? How much have we done to move forward as a team, as a group, as a product? That's really what I think about when I think of this topic, is it always makes me think about where we came from. I mean, this company started 22 years ago in my dad's garage as like this crazy idea. And now we're a 100,000 square foot facility and really growing like a weed. And team's expanding. I mean, Kyle's here. That's huge.
Absolutely.
We got new members of our team joining it. Like, it's people that you didn't know existed that you get to meet, right? Like, just a month ago, we had Garrett in here. We're rocking and rolling. And then now Kyle's here. Like, a month ago, I didn't know who Kyle was. And now, like, he's going to be a part of our team moving forward. It's kind of fun, like, as you start to look at that stuff, like, what does Kyle bring to the team, right? It's so easy to get hung up on the bad stuff, right? It's taking too much labor to build this, or it's taking too much time to do this. But what can you do to improve on it, right? What opportunity is knocking because of those changes, right? Like, obviously, the day that Garrett walked in my office, told me, hey, I accept another job. It's not the greatest feeling, right? You're like, man, I don't want to lose a good member of our team, but you have to look at it as like, I can't fault the guy when he has a better opportunity that popped up, right? We've always said that, right? I always want the best for our team. And it's no different, in the situation where I'm not winning in that deal, right? Garrett leaving is not a win for me, but it's giving me the opportunity. Okay, opportunity's knocking now. We have to hire a new person. Let's go find a talented individual. And we did. I mean, we did a bunch of interviews, and Kyle just crushed the interview process. And so it's one of those things where now we're excited to have him join the team. So it kind of falls in line with who we are. We're reinventing ourselves for 23. We're going to have some new marketing ideas, some new, direction that we're going, some new videos. We're excited to launch some of that stuff here in the coming months. And obviously along that lines, we have some website stuff we're going to be doing and some upgrades. So there's no doubt, we reinvented, even this podcast in the little over 2 seasons we have of this, right? What are we going on? Episode 77? So in 77 episodes, think about how much has changed, right? We have 4 people, at any given time in this episode. I mean, Chad's dropping his mic right off the ledge here.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. It's not time yet. We're not done yet. You don't get to mic drop yet.
I thought you said today is 15 minutes long.
No, I don't think that's what I said at all. I don't remember that. Maybe we should make it 15 minutes. Then we can get back to work. No, I think something that's really good about what we've done is, we've changed not only the podcast, but we've changed the product too. When you think about our product, think about what we started as 22 years ago, the first machine. Think about the technology 22 years ago compared to now. If we would have never reinvented ourselves, never engaged with our clients and said, hey, what do you guys need? What do you expect of these machines? We wouldn't have built the machines to what they are today. So for people listening, if you aren't thinking about reinventing your company a little bit, are you falling behind the times? You really should reach out to ShopSaver, right?
Absolutely.
ShopSaver.com. See, that's where I would recommend going. ShopSaver.com. But, when you do that, you give yourself the opportunity and tools to really improve your business, right? So what does it mean to reinvent your business or yourself? Well, to me, reinventing yourself means to change or modify things you don't enjoy either about your business or about yourself. Right?
Absolutely.
That good starting spot?
Yep.
It means you take time to improve or adjust to assure that the outcome you receive currently is not the same in the future. Because whatever you're doing now, you want to improve on. So if we don't make any changes, why should we expect anything to change, right? We talked about that earlier. Well, these changes can be professional changes. They can be bad habit changes. They can be a process change, equipment change. Any of that stuff really comes to mind when you think about changes that will improve or change the outcome in the future. Now, there's many ways to adjust yourself or your business without totally changing what you do. I mean, I think let's be clear there. Completely reinventing yourself isn't always necessary, right? Don't forget what works. There's many ways to refocus yourself on different areas. And while you do all the same tasks that you're doing right now, you simply reprioritize what you're doing or reinvent the way that you're spending your time or your priorities. So it's something to think about. As a cabinet shop, right? Travis and Chad, let's talk about that a little bit. Cabinet shop calls you up. You're not telling them to change the way they're building the cabinet, right?
Absolutely not.
No.
You're simply just trying to make that process more efficient, doing things that you hadn't thought about before, right? Some of these shops, like I've been doing it 20 years by hand, right? Well, it might be time to not do it by hand anymore, right? It's going to make you more money. It's going to make you more profitable to remove some of that labor time. Because let's be honest, you're not as fast as you were 20 years ago. Sorry. Like, if you had to be told that, sorry. Like, you're slower now. You're getting old. And as you get old, you slow down. So you have to think about that. You're an old dude now. Buy a CNC machine. No. Yeah, so I'm sorry. But no, it's true. Like, even where I'm at now, like, I realized, like, I work slower than I did before. Like, I used to be like, run. And even now, it's catching up to me a little bit, right?
Yep.
But there's still 24 hours in the day, and I'm still using every one of them. I just use it a little bit smarter now. I've set up systems. We've installed programs. We have things that help us use that time in the day versus me having to be awake for 24 hours straight.
Amen to that.
Amen to that, right? Travis, do you remember when you used to get emails from me at 3 a.m?
Yeah, they don't happen nearly as much anymore, thank God.
Yeah, I don't have
Because
to.
if I'm up at 3 a.m., I'm doing that lead.
Yeah, that's exactly what I used to do it all the time. But, for many, they get hung up on the narrative and really that, what is unrealistic, right? They choose to pursue a ladder that's non-committal or a ladder that leads to nowhere long term, right? But it seems exciting up front because it's change, right? But is it just because it's different it's exciting, or is it because it's actually improving? That's what you have to think about in your business. Like, you don't want to just make changes because it's exciting to change something. Sometimes that change could hurt you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you have to think about that too. Is like, I put that in the world of CNC, right? You're a cabinet maker. I'm going to add a CNC machine, right? I go buy a CNC machine. I just buy a Chinese machine or an imported machine. It's exciting, right? Because it's a new machine. Long term, is that going to be the right play, do you think?
Not at all.
Probably not.
Yeah. I mean, we've all heard the stories, right? The stories usually result in somebody coming back and looking for another machine, right?
Yep.
Isn't there a motto on somebody's website that says that?
Buy your second machine the first time.
I like it. Yeah. And that's exactly where it comes from, though, is because you get so excited to make a change that you get blinded by the change you're making. So you can't, I kind of relate it back to, headlights in a car, right? Get excited that you have those HID lights, but have you ever tried staring at them? Yeah, you can't see very well. You don't want to blind yourself with your decisions. Don't turn into a situation where you regret making a change in your shop because now your shop's gotten worse because of the fact that you have taken on equipment that really now you're dependent on, but it doesn't work. Like, we sold our table saw. We sold our whatever, right? Because we have a CNC. Because the reality is, if you buy one, you probably don't need the other in 99% of cases. So you get rid of one, but then what you bought doesn't work. Now what do you do? Now you've become dependent on something that doesn't work. And now you have to take a step back. You have to pay somebody else to do your job for you. That's a risk. That's a huge risk. So you have to be careful about that stuff. You don't want to get tied up in thoughts of reality and you want to really look at the facts and the results. Sometimes it's just going to cost you more than you thought it was going to. Buying an American machine is something that is proven. It's reputable. With something that's imported, it's not always proven. If you haven't, okay, Chad, you made a comment last week about companies that are popping up right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
What was that again?
Are they going to be here next year?
Yeah. They weren't here last year.
Oh, yeah, they weren't here.
Will they be here next year? Like, it's something to think about because Shop Saver, we've been around almost 23 years now. 23 years. I think we've proven we can make it through some hard times, right?
Absolutely.
You like that? You like that?
But when you look at some of the competitors, they haven't even made it through a year yet. Yet you're going to trust your business on them? Like, that's scary. To me, that's really scary. The guy can promise you the world, but he hasn't even made it 365 days in business yet. Who says he's going to make it? Who says he's going to be there in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? You don't know what you don't know. With ShopSaver, it's reputable. It's something that you can depend on. So if you're making these big decisions, you need to think about what that decision is going to have as a result to your business. Don't change things about your business because they're hard, for one. There was somebody that once said to me, the hardest paths are always the ones that are right. Because if they were easy, everybody's on that path. You have to work uphill a lot of times. You don't get to the top of the mountain by not going uphill. You get to the bottom of the mountain by going downhill. The easy road is not leading up, right? So to be successful, you need to think about that it's hard. Changing things about your business because they're non-profitable, that makes sense. If you're not making money, you should be looking at improving those areas. If you're working on low margins, you got to think about how to increase your margin. Well, reduce labor, right? You have two choices: cheapen your product or reduce labor. Cheapening your product generally has a poor outcome long term. So it's probably better to figure out how to be more profitable in what you're doing. They don't produce, outcomes that are better by using less effort, right? You need to put more effort in. And whether that means you might not work as many hours because your effort was put into buying the right equipment, you still put effort in. You're accomplishing more in less time is all it is. You're not doing less work. Nobody's going to say, okay, well, we did $1 million last year. We're going to do half the work this year, but we're going to make 1.5 million. It probably isn't going to happen. You have to put the effort in to create that. Now, can you work smarter to return to a 1.5? Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're working less. You're just being more efficient. So something to think about, how hard you work needs to be thought about, right? Hard work is necessary.
Absolutely.
If it was easy, like we said, everyone would be doing it. That's where we would be. So really, what do you accomplish by reinventing your business? Chad and Travis, what's your guys' thoughts there?
You achieve greater success.
Yeah, maybe close more sales, right?
Yep.
What else can you accomplish there? You might drive more clients, right?
Yep.
Drive more clients to you by improving your marketing strategies. Enter Kyle, right?
Yep.
We're going to add some, different strategies. Like Garrett and I worked really, really hard on a lot of strategies and a lot of things, but we didn't really get to pour ourselves into Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, some of that stuff like we would have. So moving forward, some of my strategies are going to be reinventing ourselves a little bit there, developing a brand, becoming this powerhouse so people can see what we do. We know what we do. We all see it every day. But if the customer doesn't see it or doesn't know it, what good is it, right? Mm-hmm. We have to reinvent ourselves so the customer can see transparency and see how much work we're putting in every day.
Absolutely.
Travis, what's something else that comes to mind, when you think about reinventing your business? What else can you accomplish by reinventing the business?
Well, maybe cutting out unnecessary things like overhead and outsourcing.
Yeah. That's something to think about. Like you can take out, a lot of outsourcing, right? I mean, think about that. If you're, Travis, I know you and I have talked a lot of times about this, but like cabinet shops, that guys are like, oh, I outsource to the guy down the road, right?
Yep.
How many times have we said, like, you're doing what? You're paying for that guy's machine, right?
Exactly.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, it works. In some cases, it works for you. But like, I don't want to pay that guy's payment. I'd rather just pay my own payment. If I'm spending that money anyways, I might as well buy my own machine.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't even realize how much they're actually paying somebody for outsourcing. And by the time they actually calculate that, they would have already bought their own machine.
Isn't that the truth? Like, you don't realize it because you're spending it like $1,200 at a time, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just wrote him a $1,200 check. It only cost me $1,200 and your machine's $60,000. Okay. How many times did you write him that $1,200 check? Well, we used them 63 times last year. Do the math. Like, your money ahead to buy your machine, Like, you need to think about that stuff. Or not even over last year, right? How many times have you ever used that guy over the last 5 years? Well, I've used him 63 times over 5 years. You bought your machine. You bought your machine over 5 years. Why wouldn't you have just bought it up front and then taken that savings over the next 5 years?
Yep.
Like, it's something to think about, and as you said, the overhead, some of that is just people, right? If I have to, I'm going to grow, right? A perfect example here. ShopSaver has been growing. We wanted to keep growing. We started with, remember, at one point it was me in the sales department by myself. Me, myself, and I, and then my dad over there, Mr. JB, telling me what to do. And then we realized like for us to grow, we need to add people. And then enter Travis. Travis comes in. It's me, myself, I, and Travis. And Travis was like my sidekick, weren't you, Travis?
I definitely was.
Yeah, like you came in. I mean, seriously, like you came in, you were just helping me accomplish things. Like, kind of did whatever we needed to do to make sure we were successful, right?
Yep.
And you kind of evolved. Didn't know much about CNC, kind of learning as we went, right? Remember that little office we were in? Like a little janitor closet?
Did you call that an office?
Yeah,
I thought it was a closet.
Yeah, it's like a janitor closet.
You'd be like, hey, Travis, I need you to scoot in so I can scoot out quick.
Yeah, exactly. Like Travis and I were at like a standoff. Like if we both decided we weren't moving our chair, neither one of us could leave work. We were stuck at our desks. Like that's how tight our desks were to each other. And not even kidding you. Like I wish I was joking, but that's not even a joke. And then remember the glass? Like we had this little, it was like we were in like a fish tank. Remember there was a glass wall.
Yep.
So everybody in the shop could see you and I
Yep.
like stuck against the wall because our chairs had each other pinned up against it. And then there was Jim on the other end who had this massive desk. Remember how big his desk was? Because he had so much stuff on it.
Yep.
And we had to like crawl around his desk to get out of the office. God, it was terrible. It was so terrible. And it wasn't like Jim had this massive desk because he wanted it. It was just like he needed it,
Yep.
but inconveniently it needed to be in our way. And then people would come in to talk to Jim, and Travis and I would just be in these awkward conversations that we didn't want to be a part of. People would be asking questions about things, and me and Travis were like, we can't even leave right now because we have to literally walk through that meeting to get out of here. Like, so then you like sit there like, la, 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 can't hear you, you know, like trying to be a child. But that's where we came from. You think about that. And then we started adding people, and we grew, and our building got bigger, and we kept, expanding, and then entered Chad, right?
Yep.
And then we kept expanding. And again, we kept adding people. But eventually you get to a point where like, okay, adding people isn't realistic. That overhead isn't realistic. We need to get more efficient. So then we started updating systems, right?
Yep.
Chad and Travis, you were a big part of that. You guys were like, hey, this takes me a long time. Remember when you guys had desktop computers only?
Well, yeah.
Remember that? We had a team viewer and everything. Now we have laptops. And we got phone systems that were updated. And we got these programs on our computer that make things easier for us. Like, how many more quotes can you do today than you could have done when Travis and when we started?
I can't believe we did what we did back then, knowing
Right.
what we have now.
And that's why I was emailing you at 3 a.m. because like you had to be up at that time, like to get everything done. Now we do more work with less hours. And it's great because it's not that we don't want to do more work and more hours, but we don't have to. We're efficient now. And it's that overhead that you're talking about. We brought overhead down by making some investments up front. So it doesn't cost us as much to do business as it did before in terms of some of the other resources being used up. It costs us more money because we're doing more sales, obviously. Naturally, you spend more, you make more kind of a deal. But when you think about the cost per sale before, how much more time you had to spend quoting somebody and doing something in our system compared to what we have to do today, it's a much easier process for the sales guy to give the customer what they want when they want it.
Absolutely.
Our customer has a better experience in today's world than they had 10 years ago. 10 years ago, the experience was a lot less than what it is today. I'll tell you that much. Like you didn't get as much information up front. It took a lot of time. We didn't have the videos. We didn't have the marketing. Somebody couldn't learn as much about our products as they can today. Today, they can instantly go out to our website and see hundreds of videos. Back in the day, it was literally Travis and I on a cell phone. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like, man, it was crazy.
And working until midnight.
Right. Work until midnight. Like, oh my God, it was so crazy. But then, when you think about it, on top of that, not only can you bring down outsourcing and your overhead, but you could simply reorganize time management, as we just talked about. You don't have to work till midnight anymore. Give yourself more free time. Do things that benefit your business the most. I always remind guys who own businesses are usually really, really good at selling their own services or their own business, right? That's what they're really good at. They can tell everybody why they're the best and why you should buy from them. But 90% of those guys out there don't want to delegate enough off their own plate so they can spend the time doing that. Instead, they get so bogged down because nobody else can learn their business, right? That they're so busy in the shop, they're working 60 to 80 hours a week that they can't even take the time to go out and sell their business to other people. They're just relying on word of mouth. Like, buy a piece of equipment, reduce how much overhead you have, but also then give yourself the ability to expand. You can go talk to people, sell your business, do what you do best. You're the best sales guy for your business. You are the best one. You can't hire somebody better than the person who knows their business in and out.
I agree with that.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, so I'm not saying that you guys aren't good sales guys, right? I mean, let's be honest. I'll jump on that train. Like both of you guys are phenomenal sales guys. But I feel like I know our business better because I've just was born into it. I know more about the business, the history, I see the little things that you don't have to see. So naturally, it makes it easier for me to talk about this business, right? Would that not be the same for most businesses out there?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
So, many times when you reinvent yourself, you find that you can accomplish more with less resources. And so many companies think about about outsourcing versus cutting in-house because outsourcing is easy. Stop being lazy. I'm just going to be blunt. Stop being lazy. Like, being lazy doesn't make you more money.
Correct.
I mean, it's one of those things where if you want something bad enough, go get it. Go get it yourself. Stop waiting on somebody else to do it.
That's right.
When you go after something and you go find the results you want, naturally, everybody around you wins. I believe that wholeheartedly. Like, if I want to do something differently, I need to be a part of it. I don't typically like to just tell somebody like, hey guys, good luck, go make more sales. Like, no, I've always walked out every single day and I'm like, hey guys, what can I do to help you? What do you need help with today? Like, that's how I can encourage you guys. Like, is there something I want to hear you guys say it. I want to hear somebody on their bad days. Because if I come out and say, what can I help you with? And somebody loses their cool, and they're like, oh, this is taking me too long. I now know there's an area for us to focus on. And obviously we've heard a lot less of that in the last few years as we've improved things than we did 3-4 years ago, right?
Yep.
And so, again, when you cut in-house, as an example, using that cabinet shop, you free up time, resources, because you spend less money outside of your own company. You're spending the same money. At the end of the day, if you're going to spend $1,000, I'd rather the $1,000 go from my right pocket to my left pocket and keep going than my $1,000 to come out of my right pocket and go to your left pocket, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I would rather pay our own company than to pay another company to do something. I can outsource sales too. I can pay another company to sell our product for us. But all I'm doing is introducing a middleman who doesn't really care about our customers or our business. All he cares about is how much money is he making. He doesn't care if the product works or not. He'll tell the customer what they want to hear to get his money. In the end, the customer is mad at him, but really mad about your product. Now he hurts your reputation. It's easier for me to do things in-house than it is for me to outsource. So you got to think about that with your company. When you're trying to do something with your company, think about what can you control. ShopSaver.com. So let's talk about something real quick. 10 steps to reinventing yourself for your business. Right? I think we can come up with 10 steps, don't you guys?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to start. Step 1, start by understanding your business and yourself. You have to identify who you are and what do you want to be. If you don't start there by understanding your business, you can't reinvent yourself. You need to understand yourself, your business, whatever you're trying to accomplish, and figure out, what do I want to be? Who am I? You have to ask those questions first. And sometimes those are hard questions. Mm-hmm. Who am I? I'm failing. Okay, well, why? I don't want to fail. Let's start looking at that, right? Or who am I? What are we as a business? Well, we're a CNC manufacturer, right? Okay. How does a CNC manufacturer accomplish their business? Well, they build CNC machines. What about our business do we need to improve then? Like, that's how you start looking at that stuff. So that's first. That's number 1 to me. What about number 2? Somebody throw number 2 out there for me.
Define your core values and what's important to you.
I love it.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Because if you define your core values, hey, our values are customers, right? That's ShopSaver's core value, is like to take care of the customers, customer service. What's important to me? Making sure every one of my customers loves the support they receive from ShopSaver. So that gives you an avenue. What can you do? What can you improve on? What can we do to make us better in that world, right? That's a great one. I love that one. Good job there, Travis. As we come up on, okay, 1 and 2. We now have started understanding our business. We know our core value. What do you do next now that you know that stuff?
I would start asking questions.
Yeah, we got to start asking questions. I agree with that. That's a good one too. Like, if you start asking questions, and it's not even to yourself, right?
Employees.
Yeah, ask your employees. I mean, I've done that with you guys. Walked out. Hey guys, what do we need to improve on? Where are we getting hurt? Where are we failing?
Listening to customers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, ask customers too. That's another good one. Because you can ask yourself anything, and sometimes you can answer your own questions if you're truthful with yourself. But sometimes your customers are brutally honest with you. As much as you don't want to hear it, your customers will always be brutally honest with you.
100%.
What do we need? What do we need to do differently? Start asking them questions. Survey your customers. We do it all the time. Mm-hmm. We are brutally honest with ourselves, And it's okay. And we learn more about our own selves. And sometimes customers are afraid to answer that question. But you know what? I always tell them, you're not going to hurt my feelings. You're going to make me better. I'm okay with that. So the next thing you got to do is set goals. After you ask questions, you got to set goals. If you hear these things, people are telling you what to do, people are telling you what they want to see, that doesn't mean everything that you hear you should do, right? To be honest, some customers just don't understand your business. So the 1%, ideas don't necessarily translate into success. Mm-hmm. Well, Brandon, I really like my shop saver, but I need you guys to build me a hot air balloon. Like, that's probably not the best use of my resources, right? Not going to do that. But the reality is, if you start hearing the same answer multiple times, you should start looking into it. But you got to set goals. Make sure they're realistic goals and timeline. You don't make unrealistic goals. I want to take over the world next year. All right. Really? That's your goal? You're going to fail. Like, you got to come up with something that's realistic. Like, I want to improve this about our company. I want to improve sales. I want to improve the product. I want to improve the timeline. What are you improving? Figure that out and set a goal. How long are you giving yourself to improve on that? 90 days? 180 days? Half a year? Don't make an unrealistic timeline. In the next 10 years, we're going to improve our timeline. Like, why did you even set your goal? Like, you're not even trying. So you got to do that. And then you got to build around that, right? If you have goals, you got to build a culture. You got to make a habit happen. You must remove negativity and bring in excitement. People who build excitement build positive environments. If you have somebody taking you down, taking your team down, taking your business down, you need to improve on that. You need to add more excitement than you add negative energy. Anytime you add negative energy to a team, the team naturally absorbs that energy. Anytime you add excitement, it naturally builds excitement, right? So if you want results, you need to make changes that will really advocate for those changes. So when I say that is, if you have a guy in the shop who openly says, CNC is not good for us, it's going to kill our shop. Like, is he being negative because he doesn't understand it? Like, how is that going to improve your company? Because you really need to start looking at, why is he being negative? Is there merit behind what he's saying, or is he just doesn't want to change? If they're negative just because of change, and that negative attitude, is really coming from the fact that it's just not what they're used to, like, you need to work past that. You need to think about that negative attitude in your shop will bring negativity. And you're going to have other shop guys that know nothing about it, that were probably on board, that now suddenly they hear John in the corner all upset about the CNC idea, that now there's something like, well, if John's not on board, I'm not on board. They don't even know why they're not on board, just because John's not. Right?
Yep.
So then you build past that, right? You got a good culture, you're building habit. What's something else that you guys think we have to do after you build habit and build culture?
Practice self-reflection.
Yeah, I think that's a good one too, because now you've built the culture and you built the habit around you, but you have to look at what you can improve first before looking at what others can improve, right? Mm-hmm. Look at yourself. Is my management style got to be adjusted? Do I got to be okay with change? I used to be that guy. I will say that flat out. Like, I did not like change. I still don't like change a ton. Change still is uncomfortable. But 10 years ago, change was a lot worse for me than it is today. I mean, the only one. I mean, Chad, you knew me prior to this job, but didn't know me in work. Travis, you've been here 10 years with me now. Close to 10 years. Whatever it's been. 9 years.
6 in November.
Close. I nailed it. 6 years in November. I wasn't even close on that one. But still, you've been here a long time. God, has there only been 6 years with you? God dang.
Sorry if it feels longer.
It does. It feels like forever. No, but in all seriousness, time's flying when you're having fun, right? I really thought you were here longer. So that being said, 6 years you've been here with me. How much has changed that you've seen within the company,
I think everything. I mean, like, we're talking about the systems we're using, right? I mean, we were working out of ancient times when I started here. We didn't have offices. We had closets.
Definitely true.
And I got more people to talk to than just
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean, talk about self-reflection here. How much have you changed about yourself in 6 years?
A lot. Well,
Yeah.
when I first got here, I wasn't even in the sales world. So, I mean, I had to build myself from the ground up. Fortunately, you have really guided me in the right direction. But obviously, learning what to and not to say to people on the phone.
Yeah.
Simple things like that. Things that I just would have never known until I got into this business.
Yeah, and it's not like you're saying bad things to people on the phone. It's just like some things you say, customers are like, what does that even mean, right? Like, there's certain things they just they don't understand, don't need to understand, right? Like you know more about the machine than they know. So some things you say when you're talking about the rotary girder specs, they're like, I don't even know what that means. Why does it matter to me? You're right. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me. But now I know about rotary girder specs, so that's cool. But the reality is like, yeah, you have to reflect on yourself. Changes about yourself, improve yourself so you can improve other things around you. Avoid denial is one thing I can encourage most people. That's number 7 for me. Avoid denial. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to point the finger at yourself. Don't deny it. Like I screwed up. Like I've done it. I've openly admitted, and hopefully you guys can vouch for me here. But when I mess up, I usually own my mistakes. I will own it up to you guys. I'll tell you guys when I make a mistake. And I mean, yes or no? It's okay. Hurt my feelings if I'm lying to myself.
That's correct.
Okay.
No, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah. So, but how can I expect you guys to accept your faults or your failures if I don't do it on my end, right? I point my fingers at you guys when something goes wrong, right? Hey, you guys didn't do that. You forgot to do that. I expect you guys to do the same thing. Brandon, you didn't do this. And we do it, don't we? We call each other out.
Absolutely.
Like, dude, I've been waiting 3 hours for you to do this. Travis, I'm sorry. I straight up forgot.
That's how we all get better.
Yeah, like I do that. I call it out, and you have to do that. You have to be willing to avoid denial in your business. We failed. We didn't do this. How do we get better? As soon as you deny it, you're never going to get better because you don't admit there's a problem. So change something. Ask for support, number 8. Ask for help. Contact your suppliers when you need to improve something. Contact your friends. Hey, how do you do this? Do you have anybody that you guys know that do this? Contact your family. Sometimes family just helps you out. Hey, do you know anybody who builds cabinets? Do you know anybody who does this? Like, what are they using for equipment? Find out from people. Use the resources you have around you. Contact your employees and customers. Again, we've talked about that earlier. Ask questions, right? Contact them. Ask for help. Ask for help becoming what you want to be. We want to have more social media presence. Send us videos and pictures of what you're doing with your Shop Saver. There, I asked for help, right? It's that easy. Send anything you have related to Shop Saver products to Kyle at shopsaver.com. Kyle will check it out and he'll make cool videos out of it. I promise. So that's the kind of thing. We got to ask for support though. You have to have your people around you, right? Saber Nation, you need to rally around us because we need your help too. Mm-hmm. We don't get better without you. Send us over those victories that you're doing with the machine so we can show them off. We want to help you show off what you're doing. And then you build on the right circle, right? The right vendors, the right customers, the right employees, the right goals. You have to build together. Number 9 is build your circle. Build together. And then the last thing is when you win, we all win together. Celebrate your success. Don't celebrate in silence. When you accomplish a goal, be willing to brag about what you've accomplished. It's okay. Some people that don't like you bragging about your accomplishments, like it's because they don't like to see people win. If you like winning, cheer each other on. Like I want every one of you guys to win, right? I cheer you on every time you make a sale. We have a bell in the office that we ring, do we not?
Absolutely.
It's because with that bell, it lets everybody know we just won, right? Mm-hmm. It's exciting. It's fun. It keeps people having fun back and forth. Plus, who doesn't want to ring the bell, right? I don't want to watch Chad ring the bell all day long, so I'm going to try to ring the bell too, right?
After this podcast, hopefully I got a couple sales I can ring in a couple times a day.
There you go. I like it. But you have to be willing to brag. Be willing to celebrate your wins. Winning breeds winning. Remember that.
Travis was lying.
Travis is lying.
Yeah, he doesn't have any sales.
He doesn't have any sales. He's just a liar. Can't even believe
I just
that.
wanted to point that out to everyone listening.
Other weaknesses, we're slow learners, and we're not particularly good listeners.
This is true. But yeah, I mean, really though, you have to try to win together. And I love that about that camaraderie, right? But that willingness to like completely destroy each other, right? You guys literally are like, hey, he's lying. He doesn't have enough sales, right? But it breeds that fun. And we have fun with it. Like then Chad, will go out there and Travis will have 3 sales in his hand and then, well, I'm not lying. Things like that happen. And it's fun back and forth because then Chad has to one-up him. Well, good, I have 4. Like it's a constant battle back and forth. And what are you guys doing while you guys are battling back and forth? You're climbing the ladder, right? I mean, you guys are fighting over that lead and you're constantly, but who wins in that deal? Both of you guys win independently, but the customers are winning. You're converting how many customers over to new Shop Saver machines that could potentially have been looking at some poor life decisions in terms of equipment, right? Mm-hmm. So, every company has a need. Let's remember that. Every company, everybody listening has a need. Reinventing yourself for 2023 starts right now, today. You don't want to wait any longer to focus on what you need to do for next year. Otherwise, you're going to be into next year still trying to figure out how to get started for 23. And then what happens at the end of the year?
going to be 2024.
2024. Exactly. Because you're going to start looking at things and it's like, okay, well, lead times are longer now in January and prices have gone up and this all happens. You're going to come up with more excuses and then it's 2024 and then you're wishing you had done it in 2020, right?
Right.
Yep.
Like I wish I'd done it in 2020. I wish I'd gotten all the way here. I wish that like if I'd done this in 2020, I'd already owned the machine.
Right.
But I don't. I don't own the machine for a reason, right? Because I didn't do anything yet. So you have to remember that. You know, times are changing. No doubt about it. You need to as well. Your business can't run the same as it did 10 years ago today. We haven't been able to. We had to change a lot about our company and what we are in 10 years. If you haven't changed anything about your company in 10 years, it might be time. It's time for you to upgrade that equipment. You need to give us a call.
ShopSaber.com.
Or go there. And then submit a quote request. And then one of these gentlemen will call you.
Most likely me.
Most likely Chad. But then the other thing you think about is, you know, every company, like I said, every company not only has a need, but has a want. Something you want to do, right? Something you are trying to do to improve yourself. Something that you can do. Like, we all have needs, but we also have wants. I want to be a better company next year. What am I going to do to be a better company? Well, we're making changes. What are you doing to be a better company in 2023? Anybody listening, think about that question. What are you doing today that's going to help you next year? Reinvent yourself so you can be successful in the coming months. Don't let your competitors take your business. They're working on stuff right now. You should be too.
Quit paying other people.
Quit paying other people. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I got today. That's what I got about reinventing yourself.
It was a good one.
I thought so.
I enjoyed it.
What did you think of your first podcast?
It's not as scary as I thought it should be. I don't know.
Yeah, I told you there's nothing scary about this thing. You just have fun, party. We got music that we get to play. And sometimes when we make a really awesome thing, we can go, what up? No. Yeah, I mean, just think about that though. In your business, what have you done? What are you doing? Let's have fun again. Let's get back to work. Let's help each other. Buy American-made products. Be an American-made company. Buy a CNC machine from ShopSaber. Call Travis. Call Chad, right?
Absolutely.
You guys agree with that statement?
Buy your second machine the first time around.
I like it.
Or if it's your first machine, don't make a mistake.
So buy your second machine the first time?
Well, if they haven't bought a machine.
Still be your second machine the first time then.
That's why they
But
buy
it's
their
not
second machine the first time around.
It's a-
Second machine the first time.
Yeah, just call me when you guys
You don't
need
like
a
it?
No.
quote request.
Doesn't feel
It
right.
doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work. Chad says it doesn't work like that. It does though. I promise. It works like that. So
Nope.
I win. All right. With that, I'm Brandon.
I'm Chad.
I'm Travis.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSaber.